Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the CD Sport Podcast with me, Kerry Davis. Joining us today is Wales and Saracens centre, Nick Tompkins. How are we, Nick?
Hey, boy. Yeah, good. Real good.
Really appreciate you coming on and giving us some of your time.
I've got a lot of it with COVID. I've got nothing else to do.
You're not. I thought you'd be in the middle of moving back to London now. Or was that all sorted?
Jesus, that's been a hell of a... Well, that was... Just thank God my mum and dad helped me out. They hired a van, so we got all that done. But that's been an absolute headache as well. It was mental how that kind of transpired, really.
From going back to Saracens?
Yeah, because it was literally like, I think we got told that I got kind of informed that week. We lost, this is Dragons, and we lost to Northampton. And then I had to be, I was in training pretty much on the Tuesday. So I had to pack up on the Saturday night, get out on Sunday, just 3.5 hour journey down back to London. So it was carnage, right? Yeah, it was nuts.
Straight into it. Have you played for Saracens yet now?
Nah, I was 24th man last weekend, and then I'm hopefully going to play against Doncaster this weekend.
Right, I wanted to ask you that. It just happened so quick. I was on. Obviously, I was speaking to Harry, your manager, and coming on BBC Sport, Nick Tompkins goes back to Saracens. I'm like, oh no, he's never going to come on the podcast because it's
it was changed.
Yeah,
it's taken so it's like you have to take a minute just to realise where you're at and where you're back. It's absolutely nuts, really, when you think about it.
It's been a bit of a nuts year, I think, Nick, with the COVID. But obviously, I want to talk about this year's Six Nations. Six Nations champions.
Be surprised if you didn't. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, like, for me, it was a weird one because I played the Ireland game and got pretty badly injured with my shoulder. So then I scraped through the Scotland game because when you have to try and help the boys out because we were pretty low on numbers. And then after that, I was in so much pain, and then rehabbed it, managed to get back. But it's hard to change a winning team. Yeah. But just to be involved in a team like that, and my first Six Nations win was just it was unbelievable. Even if it was in COVID without fans, which was pretty rubbish, but to be involved in that is just it's dream come true, isn't it? Really.
As I say, from your first, your debut last year, you scored that try, didn't you, in the 42-0 win against Italy? Wasn't the best year then for Wales, was it? We struggled.
Yeah, but why couldn't we done it that year?
I know your debut here, you had a storm. I remember because I don't really watch a great deal of the English Premiership, so when this Nick Tompkins was coming on, I was like, oh, who's this Nick Tompkins? And I remember seeing you, like, fuck, what a player, like. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, but yeah, I like your style of play, you're gutsy. And when I was reading up about you, you were actually a flanker before you were centre, were you?
Yeah, I was.
It made a sense why you...
They told me to get out because I wouldn't go in any of the rucks or anything like that. So I was just I was a pretty boy flanker. So I was like, what are you doing? Might as well change me anyway to centre. So it was quite funny, really. I was just a bit of a pussy, but I couldn't pass with my left hand either, so I had to probably practice that as well.
Bloody terrible. Wouldn't say that now, the way you play. You bloody you put your head where most people wouldn't put their feet, mate. Yeah, you're all over the shop. So
might be out of stupidity more than anything. That.
No, so obviously this year, like you said, you played the Ireland and Scotland game. What was that like? Is I know, bit of controversy, but I don't like the things that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you got to mention it, haven't you? I mean, we wouldn't. Who knows where we would have been without the red? But the thing is, the red card system was throughout all the games. So I mean, you could argue, Wales did get fortunate, or things happened to Wales that you can look at as helping them. But I mean, at the end of the day, if the players are going to do that, and if you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to get red carded, you can't fabricate that. You can't the boys aren't deliberately putting their heads down to get smacked in the face. You know what I mean? like, I mean, it's one of those things, and it was the weirdest Six Nations for red cards and yellow cards. It was how I don't know if it felt like every game. So that was one of those things, and I think, but it was just like to be able to be involved with them was brilliant. The frustration of not being involved was pretty tough, but to be involved in the training and getting the boys ready and stuff that was awesome.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, and obviously, I want to talk a bit about, you say, the training. Like, you were just in a big bubble for, what was it, 8 weeks altogether?
Yeah.
That must have been. What was that like?
I mean, the boys with families would have been a little bit better, but like for me, it was just like I fucking hated it because I was on my own living in a flat. I didn't even have my dog with me because he's with my parents.
Yeah.
So I was kind of, anytime that I could go home, I would go home, but then I can't go out and see any of the lads that live near me or anything like that. It was just like you're properly in a bubble, and it was towards the end. It really gets you. Like, being in camp isn't so bad because you're around the boys and stuff, but it's then those moments when you're going back, you like kind of like, shit, what's the point? I'm just kind of on my own, and so it's really, you have to be just way more strict than the average person. Right. Which is tough when you're watching people going out and drinking because you really want to see people and stuff. So that was kind of tough. I found that was a real struggle. It was a bit of a slog, but like you said, like I think what Wales did, from my understanding of what I've heard about the other camps around the other nations, they were really strict, and I think sometimes that's to the detriment of obviously what's happened with their team. So it's the detriment of them. And I think you can go way overboard on it. And I think Wales had a really good fine line of being really sensible with it, controlled, but also letting the boys still just be around each other and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Also, during that time, they actually left you, like, say you had a family, they let you go home to see them during Six Nations?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they would have. They would have been tested when they got back and stuff like that. But the boys with families still would have got back and been able to, not as much they would have wanted. It's still pretty tough. But I mean, it's better than nothing, isn't it? So
of course, yeah. What compared to like I've lost my train of thought now. Just had a massive brain freeze about the camp. No, that's it.
What was it like?
I just thought it was like I just thought you were in the camp. And I don't know, I had Adam Jones on a few weeks back, and he was talking to one of the boys in the England camp. And like you said, he said all they were doing is just training, back to the hotel, training, back to the hotel. And I'm pretty sure he said that they couldn't go home at all, but they did they? Did English?
Well, no, I don't think they could go. I think they went home maybe twice, I think, or like a really short period of time. And it was. I mean, they had some serious, at the beginning. I think they were to the point where I think they could only eat with one other person. They couldn't be together. They had to go straight to their room. That's what I heard at the beginning and stuff. So it was just like, I was like, I definitely couldn't have done that. That would have broken me. Like, so yeah, I couldn't have done that. And this camp was a lot better than the Autumn Nations camp because I think they learned a little bit from that one, and they had to I think one of the boys, I can't remember who came onto we have committees, and one of them came onto the entertainment committee and really did a job there. So it was that was pretty good. Yeah,
at least, like you said, at least they had a bit of a learning curve from the autumn, didn't they, for the Six Nations type thing. So that's really good. So obviously then when you went into the camp, you get COVID testing. So do you get tested like twice a week regularly then, or did only when you left camp they test you again?
No, it was twice a week. Regularly. Twice a week, yeah. Pretty standard stuff. You go in, you get tested. We also every day you get temperature checked as well. Yeah, and then you have to fill out a thing. How you feeling? If you got any symptoms, no, and then put it down, and that's every day. So it's all pretty strict. And then you have to wear gloves, like stuff like when you're eating food, you get your food, you have to wear your glove, you have to wear your mask, stuff like that. So it's all pretty. So
still, yeah, right. I got you.
Fairly strict, yeah.
What you don't have to answer this, but Josh Adams, was he kicked out because he went to a baby shower? Is that what the problem was?
No, he had his in-laws over.
Ah, right.
So he had his in-laws over for a baby shower. And I think the issue was, I then put it on Instagram. And like for me, I was like, geez, that's pretty harsh. Like I didn't think it was that bad. But problem is, I think they had to make it look like they were taking a stand against it. So the poor lad got chopped, but it was like, I mean, that was pretty nuts. I felt really sorry for him, really, because it's like he's just had a kid as well. So it's like, Jesus Christ, but that's how strict it was, and that's that's really from the powers up that would have come down hard on us. So yeah, that's what it was. He didn't go. I don't think he went anywhere. I think he just had his in-laws over.
Yeah, right. And like you said, Josh is one of like the main boys to his needs, so they had to make a stand, and to cut Josh is like, you know, we mean business. You know, no one's going to get away with anything type thing.
No, mate, all of us were like, Jesus Christ, like we were there, like we were thinking about what we've been doing. Like, oh shit, what we've been doing. Like everyone's panicking now. It was scary. I just didn't want to. I was just like, right, head down, knuckle down.
Was it weird lifting the cup in the Vale? Were you in the Vale of Glamorgan lifting it?
Yeah, it was weird. Also, annoying, weird for me because I had a game the next day, so I couldn't even drink or anything. So it was just like,
right, yeah.
Cheers, lads. Yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, see you never. Right, cheers, boys. So all the other lads, I think they pretty much had a week off, so they were all like having champagne, stuff like that. It was like, it wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it. It was nice because what was nice is everyone was around, all the staff were there, so it was like I'd rather that than anything else. Like too much fakeness or anything. At least it was with the people you wanted to celebrate with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's it does seem like it was a video. You were there, you know, but it was a video going around. I can't remember which game it was, and all the boys were singing in the changing rooms together. I don't know if you do it after every game. I don't know, but it was a video that went viral. I think. I think someone got in trouble for that.
Did they? Just because it wasn't like we didn't know it was going on and stuff. But yeah, like I think I can't remember what game it was, but it was the last game. I mean, it wasn't. No, we just won. Yeah. I think we just. I can't remember now.
Did one of the boys have like a 50th cap or something?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, and he went up. Yeah,
we always have it. If someone wins, like someone gets 50 caps, something like you have to go up and sing a song. That's tradition. So we always make that, and that's what we always do. And I love that side of it. Yeah, anything like that is brilliant.
Because I was watching it with a few of my mates, and I was like, "Fuck, it must be really good crack in the Welsh bubble. You're with all your mates. You know, you're playing rugby. You've beaten. I can't remember who it was against, but having a couple of beers. It looked bloody great.
Mate, it was brilliant. There's. You know, I don't know how much I can say, but there's some nights where we had a lot of places where we had like all of us together as a team, nothing goes in, nothing goes out, kind of like relaxed stuff. Like that was pretty. We towed the line, but you know, you've got to like, mate. At some point, you've got to enjoy it. Like, what's the point in doing all of it and not having a beer or something?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, you want to look back and be like, I enjoy this. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be
exactly.
Like, it's not all work. It's a bit of fun too, isn't it? Yeah. But if let's go back, rewind the clock back a bit, Nick. So, your first cap when you played, obviously, with the Six Nations was, wasn't it? 2020. Yeah. What was that like? Did Pivak just ring you up and say, "Nick, you're in," or what? What was that like?
I'd be having these weird COVID, like kind of like real like weird meetings where it was just me and him, my agent, and it was kind of like, is this all right? Everything all right? Like just chatting with him, like. Yeah. And then we kind of said like he said what how he wanted me to come and stuff, and I was pretty keen. I hadn't done anything from anyone, so I was and I didn't know at first. Like I knew I could qualify for Wales, but I didn't know I could play for Wales.
Yeah,
because of all the stuff that had gone on. And then it finally got I finally realised like shit, this could happen here, and met him. Where did we meet him? I think we met him in. Was it Costa? I can't remember. Anyway, some random place. Like just like this is weird. And met Stephen Jones, and I just love what they were talking about, and they were getting me really excited, and I was kind of like trying to keep myself calm because you know I'm not gonna I was like I'm not gonna go in and walk in or anything. So, but then it comes round to it, and I go for it, and I'm like, it's just class. And I'm going there, and I'm nervous as anything, and then transpires I'm on the bench and stuff. So I was just like, this is unbelievable. Yeah. And then it comes round to the game, and I think one of the boys got a head knock, and I'm like, I am honestly like I'm like you could have told me anything. I don't know what I wouldn't have taken it in. I was just like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Principality Stadium, and I just like run out there and I have the most mental. I don't know, it might have been 10 minutes like flying about. I don't know if I just flying about doing nothing. I was like, I could have been headless chicken. The guy comes back off of his head knock, and I'm back on the bench, and I'm just like. I was like, oh my God, that was awesome. And I was just like, I think one of the players like, you all right, mate? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. This is nuts. Like, and then had like went back on, and the rest is kind of history. And that was best moment I've ever had in a rugby shirt. Just that try, knowing my family in the crowd, everyone was going nuts. It's just
and
can't replicate it.
The Principality I've never played in it, but I can like when you're watching the game in the stadium, it is rocking, isn't it? Was it 72,000 people?
Oh, mate, by far best stadium I've ever played in. Like, I don't even say that lightly. I genuinely like. I've played in Clermont Stadium, which was unbelievable. I played in Toulouse, Toulon.
Yeah.
That stadium, you can't beat it. You can't. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I used to live in Australia, so I used to go to a lot of the Super Rugby games. And after the game, I started speaking, random again, David Pocock, the flanker.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, mate, that's Cardiff Millennium Stadium, he called it, innit? He was like, it's the best rugby arena. Like, he's played all around the world, innit, David Pocock? And he was like, it's the best stadium in the world, you know?
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah, so to hear it from, like, someone like him. And even for the fans, too, because the stadium's banging Cardiff, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean... After the games, it must be absolutely nuts. Yeah. I already did it. I did it after the debut. I managed to get out and see my family, and they were absolutely smashed. All of them. Like I go to see them, they're like spilling beers on me and stuff. And I'm like, I was like, oh God, you boys, you guys enjoyed it, then, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like it was, but no, it was going straight out and going in the pub. I can't imagine anything better.
No, brilliant. I know. Can you walk around Cardiff? Do you get stopped much in Wales or even England?
Nah. I was I was in Cardiff. I live Cardiff Bay, so I did.
All right,
yeah. It was all pretty chilled. No, I was. I'm a nobody really. It was. I'm not exactly a George North or anyone. So I was. I got sneak under the radar.
No, I reckon you get stopped.
But I loved Cardiff Bay was brilliant.
Yeah,
and Cardiff, the fans are pretty much because coming from like England and where I live here, no one firstly gives a shit who you are, and no one cares unless you're a footballer or something like that.
Yeah, right.
So like you don't ever get stopped on it, but you go to Wales and like it happens like you like get stopped in the supermarket. I suppose I got stopped the other day in the supermarket, and this kid was like, "Are you Nick Tompkins?" And I just went. I was like, instantly, Mum was like, "Oh my God, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong?" I mean, the idiot that I am, I didn't realise I was wearing a face mask that had like the Wales thing on it. So I was like, I look like such a nose walking around hoping someone was like, come chat. Like, I was like, oh, you're an idiot. But like the instant fear I had of like, what have I done wrong? Was just like, you're an idiot.
No, it's funny. I was gonna say, what about like obviously you're in Saracens is that Watford? Is it or London? Are you based in Watford? Yeah.
So it's North London, but round Watford area, and we train. Saracens train at a place called St Albans, which is just a little bit north of London, but it's basically North London.
Basically, right.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, what about like a Torgy or Farrell? Would they get stopped? They would they?
All the time. Yeah. They're because I mean they're pretty striking figures as well. You've got Billy Vunipola, like Mako Vunipola, and Maro are pretty like recognisable, aren't they? So
yeah, true.
I just feel like it's so good. You just fly way under the radar with those guys. It's like no one gives a shit who I am. I'm the one taking the pictures.
Yeah, you're going up to them.
Yeah,
all the boys stayed with the Saris. I think they have, haven't they? Pretty much.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of left. A lot of really good boys, squad players, and good players, and like good lads. All have left. And it's pretty tough, mate. Coming back, there's a lot of new faces. It's quite strange. But then there's a lot of really good players that have stayed.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are writing Saris off, saying like, everyone's gone and stuff. But if you look at the team they have, there's a lot of young boys coming back as well, which is pretty good. Nick Ezekwe, Alex Ozowski, Ben Earl, Max Mayland, myself come back. So it's still like a force, you know what I mean?
Good team, yeah. I say, well, like I said, I've been looking at, I checked the results, and you who did you beat? Bedford? Was it Bedford last week?
Bedford, yeah.
Yeah, you smashed them, didn't you? But does it feel like is there a lot of pressure in camp with Saracens now to get back up to the top, or is it just chilled?
Yeah, the pressure is obviously there, and it's like it's spoken about to the squad. I mean, me personally, I'm feeling really nervous.
Yeah,
like because it almost takes on it, like the magnitude of it all now is taken on. It's so much more.
Yeah,
like just the fact that this fear that you've never had to deal with of this maybe not getting up, which is pretty real. And the champ teams are no joke. They're big lads, hard working. So you've got to actually show up. So the fear is not there in terms of, it's not fear of the pressure. I think that we all want to demand more of ourselves. But for me, there's definitely there's an element of real nervousness to I want to get my first game underway. Like this game against Doncaster, as soon as I can get that and get in and get through it and play well and do what I can do, then I'll be all right. But there is that nerve of what we've got to do. There's a job to do and we've got to do it, you know.
I think as well with you, Nick, you're Welsh centre too, so you're gonna have a target on your back too, aren't you? You know, when you're playing.
Yeah, well, I think I'm playing against my opposite. If I play at 12, my opposite number is going to be Connor Edwards.
Edwards. Who's that?
So who used to play? He's on loan from Dragons.
Oh, is he?
So
right.
So I know him well.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be weird. Lining up against him and be like, this is odd, but he's gonna want to do a job on me, isn't he? So and I've almost, for me, if I want to keep playing in that international squad in this little period here, I've got to. If you don't perform, you don't show up. I mean, it's the champ, so you got to. I've got to be getting myself there to get selected for the international squad. So you've almost got to do more, you know.
Yeah, top of the game. What with the championship goes till June. Is it June now?
Yeah, and I think it ends 19th of June if you get to the playoffs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Has Wales got any summer games? Not this year.
I think there's a tour to Argentina, but
whether
the COVID and stuff, I don't know. But that's the goal.
Yeah. Or even Lions, mate. Never say never.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, never say never. Yeah, I would have wanted to have more. I would have wanted to probably play more in the Six Nations stuff, but I suppose it wasn't meant to be.
No, I think with the Lions, I think there's people get picked sometimes you don't even expect. You know what I mean? And I just say
a bit of a There's a lot. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Welsh boys, I think, in that Lions squad.
Yeah, I was quite shocked. Steve Tandy's in the mix, mind. I'll be honest. I didn't even know he was coaching. Was he a defence coach? Was he of Scotland?
Yeah, I had no clue.
No,
either. No.
There we are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know Jenks and stuff like that, and the Scottish coach and stuff. So I was like, but I didn't have a clue about the other one.
No, Steve Tandy, because he was with the Ospreys, isn't he, for years? Gregor Townsend, he's done well for Scotland, I thought. I think he deserved the crack.
He's been brilliant with them. He's got a good, they've been doing brilliantly.
Yeah.
They deserve something, Wow, they helped us get our win, so.
Yeah.
We'll give them something, eh?
No, I give Scotland, they're a bit of a force now, aren't they, Before, when I obviously watching Wales and stuff, I'd be like, Wales, Scotland's in the bag, you know what I mean? I always used to be confident, but now I'm like, you know what? Scotland are good. They're a good team, and I think that's down to Gregor Townsend. I think he's brought them up there,
I think he's been brilliant for them. I think they're getting, I think a lot of their players are getting good exposure at good leagues as well. I think they've got a lot of key roles and key players. Obviously, they've got a lot of players who are playing for Glasgow, Edinburgh, and things like that, which they should do.
Yeah.
But I think they've also got a lot of players that are their key players as standouts playing in other clubs that are doing, pretty high standards. Finn Russell, Racing.
Yeah.
Hogg. Hogg, Exeter, stuff like that. I mean, how good has Hogg been?
Yeah, brilliant.
He's been he's been their mainstay. Without him, I don't know where he's been that good for them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sprinkling of other boys that are in various other clubs that are doing pretty well. So I think they're benefiting from some real variety, good coaching, like you're saying, and variety of players with experience.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's shown, and they deserve it really because they've been grinding for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, is obviously with Pivac now? Is no? Can you play? He'll allow you to play out of Wales and pick you.
So originally, I signed with Sarries a long-term deal.
Right. Yeah.
So I signed because I mean it was my home, and I didn't want to have to leave, obviously. Yeah. So I signed before I played for Italy. So I'm under the laws, I'm still eligible, I think.
Right. Okay, I got you. So if you sign a new one with Sarries, would maybe not then, is it?
No, I wouldn't be able to sign. If I was to sign a new one with Sarries, then it would mean I'd have to turn my back on Wales. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
Which is you can't do that really. So
no.
You've got to
How did because like you said you've played for England under 20s, you've had England Saracens cap as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I thought it was the Saxons, but it doesn't count as Saxons apparently.
Oh really? How?
Yeah, because if it was Saxons, then I would have been capped by England. Right. But basically, the South African side wasn't their version of Saxons, right. So it didn't count as a cap.
So if you got capped, if you did get capped, you couldn't have played for Wales, is it?
No. So thank God it wasn't.
Hey, everything for a reason, Nick.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. And I want to go back to obviously last year with the Dragons. Enjoy 1 year you had, was it? 1 year?
Yeah.
You enjoy it? Did you enjoy playing in the Pro 14 with different?
Mate, I love firstly the Dragons boys. All they're such good crack. The Welsh boys, all of them are brilliant. Like I love the lads, and they've got great atmosphere going there, and I like the culture. So I was like, I came in, I was a bit worried, but it was brilliant that way, and their coaches are good. So it's one of those where it might look from the outside with Dragons that some of the results haven't gone their way, but I genuinely believe they're building, and I think they're going to really start challenging. And I'm not just saying that because I was there. I think that because I can see it. They got some young boys that are doing well, and I reckon they're going to go pretty far.
Yeah.
But it was, for me, it was pretty tough to go into an environment like that, and COVID time restricts you from seeing the lads and doing socials, and then you think, and then I had to go to camp, so I'm away from them there. Yeah. Then I come back in occasionally, then I have to go out again. It was it was tough. I wish that would have been different, because then I probably would have, I got to know the boys, but I would have wanted to get to know them even more.
Well, yeah,
but that said, I had a great time, and I hope I could have imparted anything onto them, because they helped me greatly. So anything I would have tried to help them with, I would have done, and I hope it would have worked. So I had a brilliant time, and it helped me greatly. So I loved it.
So you never played in front of a Rodney Parade crowd, then?
I've never played in front of Rodney Parade, which was
crazy.
that really annoyed me. That day. I just would at least one game.
Yeah. You might be there with Sarries as the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine.
Yeah. Did you know any did you know, apart from the Welsh boys, but did you know any Dragons players, or you kind of didn't know anyone?
I didn't know anyone. I knew that's a lie. I knew Ross Moriarty.
Yeah.
I knew one of the boys called Tom Griffiths, and I knew Jonah Holmes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I knew those three, and that was good. But I really knew no one, and just got to know people and it was we had a good social at the beginning of lockdown when we could. It was quite ironic, all the jokes I get from my English mates about just Welsh people loving sheep, and my first social, I'm in a camp. We're camping in a field full of sheep, and I'm getting pissed, and I'm like, this is the irony here.
And say
so that was pretty funny. Yeah, so exactly.
All the Dragons boys are just camping in a field with sheep there.
Yeah, exactly.
All the Dragons boys,
just camping in sheep, getting pissed. It was quite. I tell you what, it was quite. For what you could do, I actually enjoyed it. So yeah,
that's funny. So compared to the big difference between the Premiership and the Pro 14, or different styles?
For me personally, I think there is. I think the Premiership, I think it's a higher standard in terms of it's an average higher standard where each team, I think, is just that much better and competing that much more, because for me, you get these Irish teams that sometimes they've got all their stars in, sometimes they haven't. Sometimes these Welsh boys aren't playing in every game. And I think the standard sometimes in the Pro 14 can go up and down a bit.
Yeah.
And for me, with the Prem, I think it's fairly steady and fairly. Each game is like I don't think there's an easy game anymore in the Prem. Whereas you've got Pro 14, you've got the Italian sides, which no disrespect, but I mean, you put them down if you got them. You want to put them down as a win in your column, don't you?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think from that point of view, it's pretty tough because the Irish teams you can pretty much predict who's going to be number one or in the top category from the start, can't you?
Yeah.
So I just think from that point of view, you'd like to see get a bit more. But from my point of view as well, it's an interesting one. I think with the Welsh regions and stuff, it's with the lack of movement from internationals, you can only move in the regions. I think sometimes think some boys would really benefit if they could go to the Prem and vice versa if it was easier like that. But who knows?
Dan Bigger just recently said something, didn't he, about it on a podcast?
What did he say? I haven't seen it.
I didn't watch it all, but I heard a clip of him saying like going to Northampton's made him a better player, and pretty much what you said, to be honest. Like the level is higher in the Premiership. So to be honest, I kind of expected your answer to that, but I just wanted to see what you'd say as well because.
Well, yeah, I would, but like I'm not gonna like. I don't think it's I don't think it would be me. I don't want to be political about it, or I don't want to upset anyone. No. I just think, from my experience, the standard of English. I think you've got to understand as well that there are clubs, the Prem, they're still fighting. It might change with the relegation stuff. This is the thing, but you have to understand that there are teams that are fighting for relegation.
Yeah.
That are fighting to stay up, and are backed fully by independent investors, whereas Welsh regions are under one roof, which is good, but at the same time they're under pressure to play a certain way and play a certain amount of players, whereas you've got the English teams they're bringing in all this stuff, and like I'm sure Dan said, it's made him a better player. I think it would do, but I think going to any other club in any other format and seeing something different would make you a better player.
Yeah.
If you stay in whatever you're in for too long, I think you become just one-dimensional.
Yeah.
For me, going to Dragons, it's, I've learned something there. So, but you have to understand as well, like, if you can get the Italian teams up a bit more, then I think it could become more whole. But it's hard to look at them both and then compare them because they are two different things.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head there. You said that really well, and I didn't ever thought of it like that. Like you said, Premiership, you're fighting for relegation as well, and again going down to the Championship and stuff.
Yeah,
so
like from my point of view, if I was so with a Welsh team, you can go back to a club and you need some rest, and this is rightly or wrongly, good or bad for players, I don't know, but so. Let's say Dragons and I needed a bit of rest, but it was an important game. But, my time was to be rested there. I would be rested probably. Whereas if I go back to Saracens and we've got a game where we have to stay up, there's no chance I'm playing.
Oh, yeah.
They've got full control and they use it.
Yeah.
So I think and also you got to remember as well, players over there can see it as a way to you can potentially make more money because with the Welsh system, you're kind of capped at what Wales think you are.
Yeah.
Now, the club might think you're more valuable than that, but they can't really pay you more.
Yeah, got you.
But an English club, well, I want to pay him. I think he's this important. I'm going to pay him this much more.
Yeah, I got
you.
So
you've got to it's not a level playing field in that sense because it's different.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So say say Alan Wynne-Jones now. Does the WRU just pay him nothing from the hospice? It's all WRU. He gets his pay from them, is it?
I think because we're centrally contracted, how it works is, there will be a squad that's under the Wales roof, and I think the clubs will pay a certain amount, but the country will, because they'll be signed to Wales,
Yeah.
they'll take the majority of the contract. Yeah.
Got you. But if you're, let's say, a player who's you're in the Ospreys or Dragons, but you're not in the Welsh setup, then the Dragons just pay you, is it? Like
Yeah. So yeah. So then
yeah.
it depends if you're in the squad or not, the Welsh squad, and depending what banding you were in, and then the Dragons will take however much of that. So in theory, well, I mean, it works really well for the region because you have a great player who plays for Wales. You can pay a lot less for him.
Yeah.
And you spend more money on other players. So it does work in that, but you do have less control as well.
Got you. I know what you're saying. Have you obviously now you want to get back in the Welsh setup and stuff and get playing with the boys, but have you thought maybe a few years down the line of going abroad to play, anything like that? Or haven't thought that far ahead?
No, I have no. Because I think everyone thinks about it. I don't know how. It doesn't matter how young you are. You kind of like have that kind of like dream. You see all the players doing it, and I don't know whether I don't really have an urge to go play in France. I don't really get that kind of, but I do have an interest in either playing in America or Japan.
Yeah,
I think that would be either one of those would be quite fun, and I think those two. If it could take off in America, I think that'd be brilliant. Like, because mate, you're living in somewhere like San Diego or
awesome, yeah.
Houston, how like that would be class, wouldn't it? So, for me, those are the two places I think would be quite cool to end your career on and like, and earn a bit of coin there.
Definitely, I think America would be awesome. What about Super Rugby? Tickle your fancy at all?
No, I tell you what, wow, that'd be. I mean, I reckon by that time I'll be too old and I won't be able to move, so they'll just run around me.
I think with the Super, this is what I've heard, what people say, they don't get paid as well, do they, down in Australia?
No, so it's quite difficult. The pay's not as good, but also you're travelling for a long periods of time.
Yeah.
Like months fairly well. So it's actually quite a hard life. Like it's a bit of a slog at times. That's what I've heard anyway.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I used to watch I was living in Melbourne, so I used to go to the Rebels games. And like you said, they might be playing the Pumas. No, what are they called? Jaguars or Jaguares.
Oh, yeah, Jaguares, yeah.
So they go to Argentina from Australia, and then from there, maybe going to play the Stormers.
Yeah.
Like you said, and then maybe they'll stop off. Yeah, it's crazy, like, and at least in little old England and Wales, you've just got,
No, mate, I hate flying as well, so I would be shit at it. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, and the jet lag and everything,
Yeah, I'm fucking terrible.
What's the furthest for Saracens? What's the furthest? Like Newcastle?
Newcastle.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd fly to that.
Oh, I was going to ask you that.
Fly. I think the best way to go is train, but a lot of time we've flown. We have got the train there once and stuff. So it's all real quick.
No, I was always wondering that. Just even like in the football Premiership, like Bournemouth playing, I don't know who's up the top, Newcastle United, say. It's a long way to go on a bus, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they especially football, they fly a lot.
Yeah, they fly all over England.
They get their coach to drive down like a couple of days before, and then they'll fly out, meet him there, and then they'll.
Yeah, all right. There we go. Yeah. Learn something there. That's awesome, Nick. Hey, we're coming up to 45 minutes, son.
Oh, lovely.
No, I enjoyed that. But no, enjoying it. That's what it's all about, just talking a bit of shit. Have you got where do you see yourself for like the next 12 months? Just keep chipping away with Saris, is it? Get back to the Premiership?
Mate, get back to win this, get back to the Premiership, hopefully have a good tour with Wales, and then have a real good crack at it with Saris, mate. And then like, do you know what? It's kind of like you've now got a bit of a chip on our shoulder, and if we get back to the Prem, it's like one of those where there's a lot of teams that I think were talking a bit of shit about us, and and they all had a bit something to say, and I think there's a lot of irony in that because I think there are a couple of clubs that are I don't think they've got the cleanest hands. So I think we all want to kind of go out there and show account of ourselves and kind of give them one back. You know what I mean? So in a good way. So that's kind of the deal. The first thing is we got to get promoted really, and that's the biggest one. And then from there, who knows. Yeah,
I think what are you, third or fourth at the minute, is it?
Fourth.
Fourth, yeah. But I think a game in hand, is it? I think I look. Yeah, no, definitely. And with the championship, was it top two playoff and then straight to the top?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, there we are. No,
the next 2 weeks are pretty tough. We got Doncaster and Ealing. So Doncaster second, Ealing in first. So
all right. So
yeah,
the top boys.
yeah.
Is the championship on telly?
I'm not sure about. I think it's streaming for some of the people back home here.
Oh,
so I think you want to stream it. Yeah, but maybe the Ealing game might be on TV, but I'm not sure.
Definitely, I'll have to keep I'll keep an eye out, and yeah, definitely. Now you're a friend of the show, Nick.
Oh, legend.
I was going to say I was telling you before, I'm mates with Owen Williams, isn't I?
Yeah.
Owen, if you're listening, fucking letting me down, mate. You know.
Stop being a big timer.
I know he big time with TJ Perenara.
Terrible.
Yeah, big time in Japan now. Messaged him like 3 times, not replying to me. So get Nick to get on the case now.
Yeah.
Awesome, Nick. What's your Instagram? At Nick Tompkins, is it?
At Nick Tompkins 1, yeah.
Get and follow Nick, guys, on Instagram. You on Twitter or anything?
Nah, I got off that.
Yeah, just
I can do it.
Having tweet wars with fucking people and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel, the CD Sport Podcast. I'm also on Instagram as well. So find and follow me, the CD Sport Podcast. Thank you, Nick. Been a pleasure.
Cheers, boy.
Nick Tompkins, everybody. Yee!